Hey everyone, welcome to the It's My Time show. I'm your host, David Andron, the national recruiter for My Time Sports. And along with me is co-host James Gamble, who's the owner of the Global Scouting Bureau. How's everything going, James? Welcome back.
Good. Glad to be back with you, Dave, and excited where we are in baseball, with the high school and college is wrapping up and junior colleges are going into the postseason. So it's exciting and, we're out there a lot. So
it's been an exciting year. Glad we get the full season back with high school and college, and Major League Baseball is back in full swing. It's been kind of crazy these last few weeks. So with all the new recruiting rule changes and things like that, that's kind of what I want to touch on today. There's been a lot of questions asked, and I think there's going to be a lot of things changing over the next few months with the new recruiting rule changes.
It really, really is. I mean, my phone has been blowing up both from current college players, people that are going into college. There's a lot of anxiety out there because I think they're going to have musical chairs at the 4-year level. It started on the 28th and it's already happening. That portal is blowing up and, other kids, they're going to go in the portal. It's going to happen. There's colleges out there that are solely recruiting the portal, which means other players are looking to upgrade. And when that happens and they upgrade, it creates other spots. And, most of the time, you and I talk about this, people are worried about it being late. Most of the time, you don't have huge signings in the summer. You have them, but they're not huge. And I think this summer is going to be just a late signing. The month of July, I think, is going to be absolutely crazy because of the month of June, especially coming off of, if you were a 2019, a 2020, or a 2021, you're going into a junior college as a freshman. Okay, so that's 3 years all combined. A 2018 out of high school is a sophomore in junior college now. So it's so confusing. And, a lot of the kids in junior college, they've already done their academic side. They want to move on, but the 4-year schools or your Division I, they weren't able to get out and recruit. So there's so much unknown. I think it's going to be a very unique, hopefully once in a decade type situation, but it's going to be the first time that I can recall where this summer is going to have a lot of late signing guys.
Right. Yeah, this time of year, usually a ton of phone calls from Division I, Division II schools looking for the top end junior college players. And right now, all of those Division I and Division II schools, I mean, like you said, they're going to be shopping the portal first. So
sure,
they may not even look at a junior college or a high school senior until after July 1st, and or down,
sure.
Telling these players now be patient. We're going to have some things which they're going to be pushing to get their name out over the next few months, but there's going to be a lot of signings late. I believe July is going to be a really busy month for your high school and your junior college players.
I agree. It's really, as I play it out with a lot of people and start talking, it's really hard to say when to make your move if you're a player, because in the month of June, your 4-year guys at let's say the Division I level, they're going to start their movement. And when first you have to push out players to be able to bring in the players that maybe you want. Okay. So if you're at an SEC school and you are getting ready to pick up a really talented player that put his name in the portal, that somehow miraculously heard that he could play at your SEC school, they got to get rid of somebody to create the room and the money to bring you in, which you got to remember in the years past, I don't have any money for 21s or I don't have any money for 20s. Well, all this is gone. They're all having money. So they're going to pick up a player. The school that he left from is now going to go, well, wait a minute. This is the guy we had on money. He was one of our best players. Well, they're going to have to go and get someone. I'm sure they're going to look at the portal to find out who you just pushed out. So you may just be swapping sometimes, but I think there's going to be a lot of your mid-majors that are going to find themselves with spots open, with money in their hand. And it's, the rule is you have to be in place by July 1. So on July 1, they turn around and go, man, I got money, but I still have a need. Where do I get them from? So now you're going to start looking at your junior colleges and your high school players. But for all these high school and junior college players, they have anxiety. I'm talking to them. I'm sure you are too, and their families. They want to commit yesterday. Okay. What I just followed up, and we had talked on the phone during the week about it, was that with this new rule, I was calling and questioning, how does it apply to your new letter of intent guys? And what I found out is, well, they're still committed through their letter of intent, which, for me, I still think that's very confusing because maybe I committed and signed my letter of intent based on what you currently had at your college. But if everything changes, now I'm committed to a place that no longer has a spot. Now I'm going where I don't want to go based on a new set of rules. So it's really kind of, we've kicked it down the road again. I think this is going to roll over again. Maybe not the rule, but the players being in a situation they may not ultimately want to be in. I don't want to put a blame on anyone. A lot happened because of the COVID and, whatever. The whole years back has created a problem that I don't think is going away for a couple years. I just think there's so many players and you don't create more opportunity, so you have to be patient. You better really love the grind. You better love the game because opportunities are few and far between. And, for me, I'm starting to tell players, it's kind of a good thing. Instead of looking at the label of the school when you're coming out, find the place where you can go, get your education, and play the sport you love.
Right.
Okay. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a program and you're constantly going to be saying, well, this isn't what I signed up for. Yeah, well, let's throw that excuse away. We know that right now. Coaches are going to play to win. That's why they get paid. Coaches don't get paid to lose. They get fired. Okay. So they're going to play their best player. It's your job as a player to become one of their best players. If not, you better try to find a place where you can go and play. And it may not say Division I. It may say Division II or III or NAI or junior college. And that's okay. If your dream is to be a big leaguer, Dave, you know as well as I do, we talked about it before. Major league teams are going to go find talented players wherever they are. If you're throwing 97, they'll go to a Division III and pop you. If, you have to have those tools. So it's a little bit different on the pro side, but for the college players, make sure you make the right choices. It's very hard. That's why the early commits we talked about a few episodes ago, it's so hard. There's so much that changes. This week, one of the first phone calls I got was about a guy he early committed to go to a college. He's a stud athlete, great player. And, circumstances changed where he went. By the time he got there, the coach that recruited him was no longer there. Okay, so he redshirts and now he's out, and we're going once again, 3 out of every 4 early commits. They're not playing where they committed to. So it just leads me to believe, take your time, make good choices, don't rush. I know it gets exciting when people want you, but think about it a little while. Make sure you're, making the right choice.
The majority of the portal is going to be players that, signed to go to big Division I, because they wanted that name, they wanted that title, they wanted to be able to, put the hat on and sit at the table, to brag to all their friends. And then once they got there, they realized, it's not fun sitting the bench, no matter what level you're at. So they can jump in the portal to try to go somewhere else. You will have some players that will move up and improve their opportunities, but a majority of it's going to be those type of players that aren't getting a whole lot of playing time that want to try to get on the field. Like you said, find a better.
Well, we just had a company meeting where we were discussing what can we do better. And one of the topics we kept going through from the GSP standpoint is we have to do a better job of educating the future players on what it's really like when you get there. Because there's this myth that it's going to be like going to Disney World and every day is fun. And, Mickey Mouse is coming out and giving you chocolate ice cream and pouring sprinkles on top. And that's not realistic at all. So some of it, people say love the grind. In the military now, one of the terms they're using is and it's not bad words, but they say you have to learn how to love the suck. Okay. Because there's a lot about it that, to be honest, it sucks. Okay. You're going to go to practice every day. All right. And you may not play in a game. And that sucks. But if you don't love it, if you don't love going to the weight room, if you don't love going to the baseball field and practice, if you don't love the study halls, if you don't love pulling the tarp, well, then you're probably not going to make it in college. Okay. And even at the big schools, you can be at the best school in the SEC. There's still time where you're putting in countless hours and the return may be a pinch run. Okay, you better be ready because everybody there's good. And if you're the guy that's going to constantly say, my coach screwed me, you're not going to make it. It's going to be frustrating. It's going to be miserable. So now we're starting to tell people, you better be ready to love the suck. You're leaving high school where you had 500 people. You were the best guy on your team, and everybody kind of bowed down to you. Well, those days are over. Okay. You're going to college. Regardless of the level, there's going to be some things you have to go through that are not fun. Okay. And you have to learn how to make those non-fun times enjoyable and desirable. You have to have a rage to master your skill set. You have to want to throw that next bullpen. The conditioning, you have to get out there, and it's tough. But I'm sure you're seeing it too. The amount of players that are getting somewhere and they're unhappy, they're wanting to quit, they're wanting to leave. A lot of this is because I don't think we're doing enough as an industry to truly educate them on what they're going into. So that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, go back to our first episode. We talked about all the misleading information, and that's the thing. These parents are just misled to what it takes to play at the next level. I say the same thing. I do mental training for college and pro athletes, and the one thing we talk about all the time is embrace the suck.
Yep,
it's going to happen. No matter where you're at, it's a grind. It's no longer just for fun anymore. It becomes a job that you don't really get paid for. At the college level, you're getting up early in the morning for workouts, and you got to go to class, then you're showing up for practice. Sometimes you got workouts even after practice. And the guys that excel then go out and do extra work on their own.
Sure.
So it's a full-time job, and you have to really embrace the suck, because it's not easy. It's not always fun. But it's rewarding. You do get some, memories that you'll cherish for a lifetime playing at the college and professional level. I can guarantee you that. There's a lot of good things that come with it, but it's just not all fun and games like everybody kind of goes in thinking. Hey, I'm going to be a college baseball player. It's going to be a blast. I get to tell all my friends about it. It's not what everybody thinks it is.
Sure. Well, I think you mentioned something right there as well on the mental side. It's not just the players. I see it with the parents, because the parents in their mind, their kid's 17, 18, he's going to a certain school. They've already bought the wardrobe. They match the colors, and they're telling their friends they can't wait to go tailgate. What they forgot is their son at that 4-year school may be sitting for 2 years getting limited playing time.
Right.
So they bought the season tickets, and first week they're there. But about a month later, there's open seats at the stadium because mom and dad, they're really supporting their kid. And now they're going through an emotional and mental, because they're not used to going to a ball field, seeing their kid in the dugout, not going to play, or he's going to pinch run, or he's going to, come in and spot relief. But at the college level, everybody's really good. It's such an adjustment that everybody has to acclimate. So, I think all of us in the industry need to let people know that it's not this peachy, rosy, fairy tale. It's real. Okay. And to do something in life that's real, you're going to have to go through stuff, and you have to go through this non-fun periods of time. And that's the development. That's the acclimation is, you have to learn how to play the game day in, day out. And this is a tier to when you go to professional ball, because you're going from, in high school, what do you play? 30, 35 games. In college, it's 56. Then you're going to get to 90 in the minor league sets. And then you're going to get up to 162, 163. All of this is kind of a pyramid to get you used to learning what is your routine as a player. Okay. Not just athletic, but what's your mental routine? You have to prepare yourself day in, day out. So there's so many things that this is doing. And the high school player and parents, they always think, it's just going to be fun, but it's not. It becomes real. So for me, I tell everybody, college and professional, one is a contract, one is a scholarship. They both equal money. The day you sign that scholarship, they're paying you for your services. They have an expectation of you to deliver services. And when you don't deliver them, you really can't complain when they sit you at the end of the bench, because they're paying you to perform. You're not performing, and they're actually still paying for you to get an education. So one of the things that we talk to players about is, when these players are out of junior college or out of 4-year school and they call and they're complaining, the coach doesn't do this, doesn't do that. We turn it around and say, you want other people to invest in you, but yet you're not investing in yourself. What are you doing? Okay. There's going to always be coaches around and people around that you're going to have to go to. But what are you doing? Are you waking up, going to the gym? Oh, well, the team didn't have to. I didn't ask what the team did. I asked, what are you doing? What are you doing to be the best you can be? Because I think that's, at the end of the day, you control your future. It's not just going to a team practice. And I know how much time you put in. The elite athletes are still doing more. Nobody followed it. The Michael Jordans of the world, they've said this before. What you and I are talking about is not new. Everybody showed up at game time and watched him score the winning shot. They missed the countless hours in the morning that he put in, and he missed the same shot thousands of times to be able to make that shot in the clutch. So, but yeah, recruiting is going to be, it's going to be a funny year, man. It really is.
And I really think this rule is going to end a lot of players' careers, because the world we live in today, these players grow up thinking that they can just change teams anytime they want. If they're not playing their travel ball team at age 10, not playing the position they want, they get pulled off and they go find another team. And same thing for high school. If they're not starting as a freshman in high school, they're transferring to a different high school. And I think the same thing's going to happen. Their mindset's going to say, well, okay, this new transfer rule is in effect, so I'm not playing as a freshman at a Division I school. I'm going to get in the portal and go somewhere else. They don't realize how many people are in the portal already and about to get in the portal after the Division I season ends. And it's going to be very competitive. A lot of the players that are getting in the portal are going to have, 300, 400 at bats under their belt. And, these players are going to be going in, sitting the bench for the last year or two. And sure. It's going to end a lot of players' careers just because they're not happy. They think they can just bounce off to somewhere else and find the grass greener somewhere else. And it's not the case.
No doubt. No, you're absolutely right. I think you're nailing it right now. For the timid players, the guys that have just raised their hand and said they wanted to play and they're not really committed. I mean, I have that conversation every day with players. I don't want the verbal commitment. I want the action commitment. Some of that is I want to see you go through things. I want to see you go all in with your academics, because if you're going to make it, you have to make the grade at college. I mean, watch, there's guys that right now in college, it kills a team that when they're not making the grade, now the teams have to get rid of them or they're not able to play there. It's not public out there. Very few people really understand the APR that happens whenever a college brings you in and they spend money on you and then you're failing and you transfer and go to a junior college, you get a negative hit on your APR. If you fall beneath a total number for your team, you can't go to the postseason. But they hold the team accountable. For me, I go back and say that's a personal thing that starts at a younger age where the kid has to be held accountable. He has to go all in. Nobody's telling you to love school, but you have to make the grade to be able to advance. Again, nobody loves basic training, but if you're going to be a colonel in the military, you went through basic training. Everybody goes through it. So there's a lot that you said guys are going to end their career. I think it's because they didn't really want it. Now they'll come up with other terms, but when you really want it, you're willing to go through almost anything to get where you want to go. That's that rage to master. There's going to be times when the coach sits you and it burns you up, so you work harder. Okay, and the ones that I love, and we talk about it, is that sometimes you'll see a guy that's really succeeding. The game's over, everybody goes home, and he's going to the cages. And he's hitting 350, 360, 370. And you're going, why aren't all the other guys that are complaining sitting on the bench? Why aren't they out there? Well, they don't want it. That's what makes those kids special, is they have this, that's who they are. That's what they do. That's their priority. It doesn't mean they don't enjoy, having a girlfriend or playing games, but they've prioritized their life, and baseball's at the top of it. And I think you have to do that. If you're going to make the commitment to go to college, you better be prepared for the commitment. It's not a little commitment. It's not a just put my toe in the water. It's you better be all in, or you're not going to make it.
Yeah, sure. And like you said, these players go in, they have expectations, they want to play right away, but there's a personality that goes along with the coaches and the players, and everybody's personality is different. So a lot of times you have a personality conflict, and you don't relate to your coach as well. And some players just want to blame that right away. Oh, he doesn't like me, You go out and you bust your tail and you hit, they're going to like you enough to put you in the lineup. Sure. They might not be your best friend. They might not joke around with you at practice and stuff, but if you're hitting 350 or 360, you're going to be in the starting lineup at some point, because like you said, they get paid to win, and they're going to put the top performers in there, the ones that work the hardest. So stop looking for excuses and, looking for an easy way out, and find a way to get it done. You go out there and be you, do yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. Leave it up between the lines, and at the end of the day, then it's all on your shoulders.
Well, and I'm sure you get these too. You just made me laugh about stop making excuses. How many times do I get phone calls, and the first thing, whether it's the parent or the kid, it's the program, it's the culture, it's the environment, and I go, well, what are you doing? Aren't you a part of that? Why can't you create the culture? Why can't you create the environment? And I think they use those, the coaches, my leadership, because nowadays, no matter what channel you turn it on, they're talking about bad leadership. Well, man, that means somebody's following it. Okay. If you're a leader, I don't have to do what all these other people are doing. If you're a young athlete and all my friends are vaping, I don't have to vape. I'm not blaming my friends. I'm saying I'm not vaping. That's it, period. I got new friends. we make excuses. And the majority of the people that are calling about leaving, it's you look up their numbers and they've got a 70 ERA. They're hitting a $1.60. And I'm going, guys, let's just call it the way it is. You're not performing. The coach is playing the guys that are helping him to potentially win because that's how he gets paid. And you're unhappy because of that. Well, guess what? Suck it up, Buttercup. Get out there, work hard. Instead of complaining, wake up earlier, go to the gym, get extra work, look at the guy who's performing better than you, maybe go play catch with him. Learn what he's doing right. But no, it's easier to say, let me go change environments. It'll be better. It's not going to be better. It's still you. You can change the jersey all day long. What's underneath it, that's who you are. That's why I always say, look, if Mike Trout goes to the Marlins, he's still Mike Trout. If he goes to the Braves, that's still Mike Trout. That dude's going to hit. All right. That dude's going to play. That's because it's him. The Angels don't define him. He does. That's what you think about all the great baseball players is, they handle their business. They get their work done.
Tell my players all the time. I do, again, a lot of mental training for college athletes. I have one specifically that I'm working with right now that suffers from some performance anxiety. And like I tell every one of them, you go do you. No matter what your leadership's doing, no matter what everybody's thinking, can't worry about if they're talking bad about you. You can't worry about if they celebrate all your good plays. You got to go out every day and do you. Like we talked about before, it's like the bird on the wire, that's out singing at 6 o'clock in the morning. And one person can walk outside and tell the bird to shut up and making them have a bad day because it's making too much noise early in the morning. The bird doesn't care. The bird's going to go out there and still do what it does and sing every morning. And then somebody else might come outside and say, oh, the bird sings beautifully. It makes my day. Every time I hear the bird sing, it's an awesome day. The bird don't care about that either. It's going to go out and do what it does every day. And when you can do that as a baseball player or any athlete in your sport, you're going to go out there and you're going to succeed. The ones that are trying to be that hero every day and worried about, the accolades and the cheers and, things like that, that's going to put a lot of pressure on you. And eventually baseball is going to beat you down. It's a game of failure. So if you're always looking to be that hero, you're going to end up, losing some mental toughness and, getting distracted. And then if you're always worrying about what everybody else thinks on the negative side, that's going to put too much pressure on you as well. So if you can forget both sides and just go down the middle and every day show up and you do the best thing you can do, then that's how you get to be the best possible. And, we kind of mentioned this the other day. We're going to start working on some books for the middle school ages on, overachievers. And, there's 3 types of people. There's people that underachieve, that never reach their potential. And there's people that just reach their full potential, that normally every day go through their grind and reach their potential. And then there's the overachievers that go above and beyond their potential. So, what kind of person are you? Are you the one that's going to just, get by and reach your potential? Or are you the one that's going to sit back and blame others and be underachiever? Or are you going to be the one that works every day and just does what you do and go out and be that overachiever? And it's all on your shoulders. It's nobody else. You can't blame anybody else for it. Anybody can be an overachiever if they put their mind to it.
Sure. I totally agree with that. Again, back what we were saying with the recruiting, that's why I think a lot of the guys are going to bail out. They're going to have an excuse set up for them right now. Your overachievers, they're going to be fine because they can wear it. They weren't looking for you to, hey, great play. They already know. And that's what, when you're really looking at the player and it, that's whenever I go into a dugout, whether I'm talking to a high school or college players, everybody will raise their hand and say, do you want to play college ball? Would you like to be drafted? The hand always goes up. But when you look at the guys and you see what they're doing when nobody's watching, that's how you know. I mean, you can see it, you can feel it. When you're around them that, that air, it hurt them already. I don't need to say a thing. They're ready. They're going to bounce back. They're going to go get 1,000 ground balls. They're mentally going to prepare. They're going to do whatever it takes. And I think this summer is going to put a lot of pressure on the players that maybe are just getting by rather than the ones that are going to do whatever it takes to be on a roster, to work hard, to beat out the guy in front of them. And so it's maybe not that bad of a thing, but I just know that it's going to hurt a lot of feelings because we've been used for the last 20 years of a certain recruiting model. And, hey, this early commitment and the letter of intent. And then, the junior colleges are signing so many players in the summer. Well, guess what? Things have changed because you've got so many years bundled up together, so many waivers and loopholes and rules. And And it's if you go on the internet, man, it's so misleading. These tweets that are out there, well, all you need to do is 1, 2, 3, and I'm like, yeah, if that were only true, I mean, that's why I was calling on the new letter of intent guys. They actually are still committed to where they're going, even though this rule passed after the fact, which changes the situation that they're going into. And I'm going, wow, that's really terrible, but that's the rule. You better know it. There's so many rules that people don't know. If the head coach leaves, well, then all bets are off. Okay. You're going to be released and be able to move on. But even when you say I'm released, I can move on, a lot of people now haven't paid attention. And because of COVID, let's be honest, what Division I schools have been out recruiting? I can tell you, none, zero, zilch. All those parents that are calling me saying, yeah, the college coaches, yes, they're at my game. No, they're not. That's a dude with a polo shirt, and he just likes that university, okay? Because they do have a bookstore and they sell online. It's not a recruiter. They're not out there, and so they're right now, they're scrambling too. I know you're talking to them. They're looking at videos, and I feel for the parents because so many of these companies out there, they're like, oh, you should send 5 emails to the college coaches. There ain't enough time in the day they're doing scouting reports on their upcoming games. They also have families. They're also coaching their players. They're also making sure that they're academically eligible. Oh yeah, but they're going to read 700 emails a day, look at your video, contact you with a real email. No, dude, it's generic. That's a one-size-fits-all response. Most of the time, there's just not enough time. And that's why the recruiting process is so unique. Everybody's selling it one way, but that's not how it happens. It's a trust line. It's people knowing people, and then that scout feeling comfortable about the player, and does he fit what that coach is looking for? And so it goes back to, like we were saying, players need to have a clear expectation. I wish that everybody understood when you make that decision to go to a 4-year school, it's going to be tough. Not impossible. I can name players that are, as a freshman, starting at 4-year schools. Good. But it's not the majority. You have to be elite. That means the best of the best, because now you're beating out guys that are, not 1 year, not 2 year, not 3 years, but maybe 4 and 5 years older than you, which also, brings me to another point. That's one of my frustrations in the summers is that, hey, let's play 14U. Let's play 15U. Man, when you get into college, what is it right now? 24U? What is high school? 19U? If you're going to be a dude, you're going to be a dude. Okay. You're going to step up. What's Major League Baseball? 50U? I mean, does the 17-year-old guy or 18-year-old guy that breaks into the big leagues go to the plate and say, timeout? Hey, can you let that Cy Young guy on the mound that's 34, can you let him know that I'm 17? I don't want him throwing 97. Will he back? He's not. Come on, guys, parents, let your kids go through failure. It's okay. Make them get up. And if you have to make them, they ain't going to make it anyway. If your son doesn't get up and say, I want some more, he's not going to be a college player. He's not going to make it. And it's not just in baseball. If you're not going to get up and work hard, you're not going to be successful in any endeavor in your life. So
baseball is one of the best life skills training courses you can ever take. I mean, it's going to humble you quickly. No matter how successful you are, at some point in time, it's going to break you. You're going to have to bounce back up if you want to get through life.
No doubt.
All right, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back with the Who Is That section. Be right back. Hey everyone, welcome back. It's David Andron with It's My Time Show along with James Gamble. And now it's time for the Who Is That section. And we're going to specialize this segment on playoff teams. We've been out scouting some and we try to talk about a lot of players in the episodes, but we want to really talk about some of the top players, the top teams still left in the playoffs for the Louisiana High School Athletic Association. James, you want to talk about some of the teams you've seen?
Yeah, I'll just jump into some that are coming up, some that I know, some more guys went out and saw. South Bow's playing this weekend. Naturally, the coach really well over there. And, they got some seniors, the Britton Colemans, and they've got senior leadership that's really helping them. They're going to be tough to beat. which was good to see that they're playing good. They have probably for the last 10 years. People don't really remember it. About 10 years ago, nobody knew of South Beauregard. Then Nick Lee walked through there, and since then, I mean, they've really blown up. They've had 5 or 6 Division I players, probably 10 to 12 guys that have moved on playing college baseball. It's put a lot of momentum into them. And like we talked about, the culture and environment, a lot of that came not just from the coach, and he's a really good coach, but once they had the Lee brothers there, Nathan and Nick, those individuals helped turn a program. It turned it for, 7, 8 years now, where they've been really good. I like to talk about Houghton just because they have probably one of the best hitters in the state, if not the best hitter in Stovall. He's probably hitting 1,300. Yes, that's a fake number. He's committed to Arkansas. They're not as highly ranked as their opponent this week, but look, the dude can hit, and he can really hit, and there's not a lot of guys. There's a lot of guys that are hitting 500 and 600 in high school. There's not a lot of guys that can actually swing the bat like him. He's very balanced. He's a very mature hitter. He's going to be very successful because hitters hit. It's not like all of a sudden he's good. This dude just flat out hits. Notre Dame, I've seen them a couple of times, and I know they're still in, and I expect them to do well. They've got, again, some seniors, some older players with, Menard and Thibodeau. These are college committed guys, and that helps a lot. Then you have the younger players that are kind of filling in, but you've got leadership on that team, so they've got a chance. And I don't remember whether they're 1 or 2 seeds, but they have high expectations, no different than Sterlington, which for the last 3 or 4 years has been in the top of, I believe that's 3A, just another powerhouse team again with big arms. They're going to be tough to beat, even though I think they're playing Gina, which is way better than people think. Gina went into Berwick, and, Berwick's got a lot of young kids that are really talented. They've got a handful of guys that are going to be college players. But Gina was pretty good, okay? Everybody's going to say, which team's better? Well, I know who won. And they actually swung the bat okay. Doesn't mean they're all great hitters. They swung the bat okay. They played the game the right way. I was very impressed. They don't have overpowering arms, but they competed. They did what they needed to do, and that's really what it's about. And then I'm just going to add one other team because, Grand Lake, it's a small school south of Lake Charles. People don't talk about it. Their coach there, Tyler, I've known him. He was a college player. Since he's been there, I don't think they've missed being the 1 or 2 seed in the past 3 or 4 years. So once again, we talk about it takes a person instead of going, well, here's what. This time it happens to be a coach. He goes in, he sets a tone. The culture is changed every single year. He'll have 5 injuries. There's still 1 or 2 seed. And they're 1A, but they're beating 2A and 3A and 4A teams. Well, he's got an expectation. He lets them all know it. He holds them accountable. I'm a huge fan, and I wish them the best of luck as well. So I'll let you jump in. There's a lot of good baseball that's going to be played this weekend.
Awesome. Yeah, sure. Got some good teams, on that end of the state. I see a lot of them on this end around the New Orleans area. I go to Houma quite a bit, and Covenant Christian Academy is one of them I want to talk about. They're very well coached. Coach Joe Tutone and Tristan Rogers. Tristan's one of our scouts, and they do a great job of just developing players year in and year out. I watched them earlier in the year, and they struggled. They looked like lucky if they made the playoffs, and all of a sudden the players buy in and they're on a roll. They're playing well together, and they're gonna be tough to beat in single A. Rolf John is one of the players that is one of the My Time members. It's a really good player, and he signed with Mississippi College. Connor Mathern, Carter Fobb, and JT Tutone are all 3 big time players. They're all going to be college players, and I think they're going to do a good job. South Airbone, also out of Houma. Coached by Mike Barber from Nicholls State University. He was a good player in college, and now he's doing a good job leading their program. They have Brady Bowen and Cameron Trosclair, both college commits. Both of those guys are going to Loyola to play, and Cameron can flat out swing it, and Brady can pitch. They got a shot to go a long way as well. I also want to see Logan Pontiff of St. Paul's High School. He's a sophomore this year and left-hander pitcher and hitter, and he can swing it. He's one of our guys that we expect a lot of good things from, and it's going to be exciting to see what they can do in the playoffs. And finally, I want to talk about Lutcher High School a little bit. They're kind of a surprise. They're doing really well this year. Coach Ryan Jensen's doing a great job, and I think they're ranked 3rd in the state, and they have a really good shot of going a long way as well, if not winning it all. So, I'm excited for all of these teams, and of course, New Iberia Senior High. We the guys there, Cade Glenn, is lights out on the mound, and they're kind of guys as well going into the next round of the playoffs. So I'm excited for all of them, and I want to see what happens this weekend. We'll be at some of the games, and hopefully they all get to move on.
Sure. Well, I also know, like you had mentioned to me when we were talking before the show, like Edie White, I happened to see them, and yes, there's 2 or 3 players that stand out, but my favorite thing about, say, Edie White was that 1 through 9 they swung the bat, and I'm not saying they're all going to end up being in the SEC. That's not it at all. It's more at the level they're at, to see 1 through 9 contribute, compete, put good swings on it. I think they've done a really good job. I don't personally know the coach there, but I got to watch the team and see how they played. And you can tell the coach is demanding, and he commands the best out of the kids, and they're performing well. And you mentioned Nish. I'm trying to think, is it the second year, or maybe it's the first year for Eli to take over as the head coach? Because the coach that was there is now at Vanderbilt, which is having a great season, which, when he walked in, Vanderbilt was built to win. Vanderbilt's a team that the expectations are, you better win the last game of the year. Okay, that's how good that team is. They've got a couple of really big arms. The Schechtsteiner, they've got 2 guys. Plus, they have guys that are committed as well. So
Hunter Porsche,
there you go.
Can play.
Yeah. They're built to win, and
Coach Menard does a great job. He was at DeRidder. He did a great job at DeRidder, and then went on to Nish for a year or 2, and then now at Vanderbilt. So I think that was a good pickup for Vanderbilt. I think they got a real good opportunity to do some damage.
Sure. Well, that's what I meant about New Iberia, though. I think they're overachieving based on what the expectations were. So I get really pumped up when I see that team. It's that little train that thought it could, and now it is. And a lot of it's getting on the back of Cade Lynn, which I think he was one of the guys with my time. And, he continues to improve. He's committed to Mississippi College. But then what I notice is all the other players on the team start elevating. So that leader on the team starts pulling guys up with him. That's what's fun about playoff time in baseball. Again, on the same thing, now you're looking at, say, the Region 14 pairings. They start on the 7th. So you played the whole year. You didn't think anybody was watching. Yeah, I don't like it here. And all of a sudden you end up with 4 teams. You're about to go play San Jack and Panola. Well, the intensity level goes through the roof because now all of a sudden it matters. Okay, that's kind of what I noticed in high school too. For me, the who is that is the guy that shows up every day. But the playoffs, the atmosphere, whenever I was, I went to the Berwick and Gina game, and man, all of a sudden it feels different. There's an intensity level. I got calls. One of our guys is going out to South Bow this weekend because now all these fans from different schools are showing up. Gladly, hopefully we're not starting any of this COVID and too many people are going, they get all mad, whether they wear masks, all of that's out. But I'm pumped because so many guys are going. And for the players, it's exciting when even when you have haters, when you have people that are against you and they're screaming and they're hollering, it's a whole nother adrenaline level. That's what the fun is. I know that's the mental side that people have to prepare for. It's the best time of the year for me. When it's the high school, the college postseason, this is what everybody worked all year long for. And when it ends, look, it's tough because you got tears, you got emotions, chapters are closing, but it's also exciting because this is why you did all that work. This is all the grind that you went through, that running, that conditioning, that cold weather to go get your work in. Now you're in the playoffs, man. Now it's time to shine. So I'm excited. Look forward to being in Sulphur in a couple of weeks as well.
Sure. And when you talk about Edie White too, they did a great job of just battling through adversity because they got beat day one Friday pretty bad. Archbishop Hannon put it to them, and some teams would have just folded the tents right then and there and took off. And Archbishop Hannon had some players. Unfortunately, one of their best pitchers, it's one of our guys, Alex Rowe, broke his thumb, so he was not able to pitch. But I think he hit a couple of home runs, and it was a great series. Either team could have pulled it off, but Edie White, you got to tip your hats to them because they bounced back. Their backs were against the wall, and they battled through adversity and pulled together. So like you said, that's the exciting stuff to watch. When you see young kids actually step up and do that type of stuff. Sulphur is going to be fun to watch the teams there. It always is. It's a great atmosphere every time I go. No matter who's playing, it's just fun to be out there and watch. You feel like you're at a college or minor league atmosphere.
Absolutely.
So if you get a chance to go, even if you don't have kids or players that go enjoy the game. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And from there, guys, I want to talk a little bit more about some of the things we're going to be doing this summer. We typically do our showcase type events. I don't like to use the term showcase so much because it's really abused through the industry. So many companies, are having these showcases and, misleading players on what it is. Ours are strictly evaluation tools. We want to see your tools. We want to see, if you have the ability to play at a Division I, Division II, or junior college level. But we're also doing some other things now. We're calling a player player performance expo, which is the same thing as a showcase. We're still getting the same evaluations. Just now you can get it all done within 15 to 20 minutes instead of sitting there for 3 or 4 hours. So check the MyTime website. You can see some of our upcoming events. James, we're going to be at some of your tournaments this summer and setting up there, for players to come in and, just get their evaluation, with all of their analytics, launch angles, spin rates, velocity, 60-yard dash time, everything that the college coach is looking for, instead of having to go sit through a 4-hour showcase. Now they can get it all done in a 20-minute period. We're excited about that. And you want to touch a little bit on it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's going to be big, Dave. When we talked about it, I think it's going to be something that is a game changer for families. For the last, I've been doing this for 24 years, and everything's been, hey, we're going to do a pro style workout. Well, see, the game is changing. It's still the same game, but why have we not changed the way we acquire the information? And I've been out there when it's an all day thing. I mean, the kids pay $250 to, now I'm seeing some of them $425 for one day. Well, you got to think, how long does it take to run a 60-yard dash? I got to tell you, if it's over about 7.5, it's going to be tough. That's 7.5 seconds. Okay. But it doesn't take long to get that information, but you sit around so much. And if you're a pitcher, man, you're sitting out there for hours. And then after you ran the 60, you wait and wait and wait. Then you have your defensive skill testing. So you throw a whopping 3 to 5 times from right field, maybe a handful of times from the back of shortstop. And then we go and wait and wait and wait and wait again. So for a family, you said 4 hours. Man, I've been out there where it's 8 hours. 8 hours to do what can be done in 15 minutes for the individual player. So I'm excited about the expos because I think it makes it convenient. It's affordable. And really what MyTime's doing is they're getting your baseline information, and it should be something that goes up. So now it's affordable enough that you can go and run your 60, and 3 weeks later you've trained and you said, you know what, I want to go top it. I want to make sure college coaches know I don't run a 7 flat anymore. I run a 6.8. Okay, now you run a 6.8. You didn't have to spend $2,000 and travel to Minnesota. And no, just have verifiable data that people can trust, and that's just the tool measurement. Then I think, like you said, you're going to be at some of the tournaments. You get to see him play live. You get to find out, hey, he can really run, but yeah, his speed plays in a game. He can steal a base. He can lay down a bunt. He can, he can hit. He can drive it in the gap. Yes, he's got 100 exit velo, but well, he never makes contact. That's why they're changing from raw power in the scouting world to, power production, because it has to produce or it has no value. The guy that throws 100, it's awesome. I mean, go type in there's 20 companies telling you how to throw 100 miles an hour. They can do it in 6 weeks, but go get people out. Okay. Because just yesterday, I watched the Cubs and they played against the Dodgers. Okay. And the technician gets on the mound and he's throwing 87 miles an hour. And he beats the old Cy Young from the Dodgers, 7-1 game. If you can pitch, you can pitch. There is some still value in being able to perform. What MyTime's doing is saying, let us get the tools. Let's see where you're at. So you'll know where you're at and what you need to work on. We're getting to know who you are. And now MyTime's going to start getting you out in front of all of these coaches, close to you and far away, trying to make sure you have a fit, not just telling you like, hey, an SEC school likes you. Well, that's great. You may never play in an SEC school. Why tell the kid that? Why lead him somewhere where he's not going to play? So I really like it. I think it's going to be a big winner. I'm excited about the summer and the expos. So
I get a lot of calls, parents call and say, well, how many college coaches are going to be at your showcase? How many college coaches are going to be at, your events? And it's not about that. You can work out for us. We're getting the data for you. We're going to shoot your data out to over 2,000 college coaches. So when you come to that 15 or 20-minute tryout, if you can play, you're going to be trying out for over 2,000 college coaches. All of these showcases that are charging an arm and a leg or telling you 60 or 70 coaches are going to be there, that really doesn't mean anything. I mean, when I was a scout for the Brewers, I got called all the time to go to these showcases, and they would pay for my vacation, pay for my condo, pay for a round of golf. I went to have a vacation. I wasn't going to sign anybody, but everybody thought they were going to work out for a major league scout. Just there was not enough players there to actually do anything for us. So these coaches get paid to show up, and it doesn't benefit you. So, we want our events to be beneficial for the players and the parents, and, worth the money and worthwhile. Like you said, you can promote your teams to college coaches. You got a ton of other things to do. I mean, you might reach out to your network around. My Time Sports can shoot them out to over 2,000 college coaches in a short period of time. So we just help every organization. We're not just trying to help one team or one player or anything like that. We're trying to help everybody find a good fit, whether it's the players finding a good place to go and improve and move on for their academic and athletic future, or we're trying to help the college coaches find the best fit for their buck as well. So it's a win-win situation for everybody, and that's the one thing we focus on, is just trying to keep it factual and honest and beneficial for everyone.
And one thing I'll add just to end is, after all of this, I know this goes on the internet. Hopefully people are watching and will pay attention. Not just the players, but the parents. There's a couple of good books out there. Okay. Some of them we helped author. It's no longer the Cliff Notes. It's not just the tagline. Go read the book. Okay. Then call us out on it. Get in touch with Dave, get in touch with myself. It's all facts. It's no longer just this highlight reel 30-second Twitter thing that goes out there that John Doe said you could play. But read the book and find out what college coaches are looking for and how to get in front of them and when's the right time. Learn that there's not an arbitrary date you have to do things by. I mean, that's like a rule that's saying if you're not married by 24, you're going to be come on. I've heard that before in different countries, and we're in 2021. You don't have to be married by 24. You don't have to commit by an arbitrary date in November that said, nope. There's guys that played in the big leagues. We've actually talked about them that walked on to Division III schools. So this should be where you as a parent or as a player should say, look, let me look in the mirror. That's going to be my guide. Let me find out where my tools are at and go back to work. Okay, go back to work. Let me run faster, throw harder, get stronger, hit the ball harder, and still let me be a grinder. Let me be academically the best I can be. There's so many things. So that's why I say, look, get the book. It outlines it step by step. Get rid of all the myths. Hey, I've got to go to all these camps. No, you don't have to go to all these camps. Okay. You have to become the athlete that they're looking for. And then you have to be in the right place at the right time. And it doesn't mean a physical place. It means in front of the right people that know how to network for you. And I think that's what, our company and My Time, both of them are on the same trend. That's why we do stuff together. It's all about advancing the athlete. So, and helping the teams at the same time.
We'll close with, like you talked about the books. Now we have the It's My Time magazine out. It comes out monthly. Check it out. You see top prospects in the area, top high school and college players, and we have recruiting tips in it, every week. Every month, every issue. That'll help as well. And then the It's My Time app. Out the app, all of our videos are on it. All of our recruiting information, everything you can think of, you can through the app. So, use all the resources we have available to you. They'll be listed down below on the YouTube link. And if you have any questions, be sure you reach out to us on our email or phone numbers from the website. Anything else to add, James?
No, man, I think control your future, get involved. I'm a big advocate for the academic side. So I'm telling the parents, get the book, learn. It makes it a lot better. Yes, I want the kids to read it too, but parents, don't just put your toe in the water. Get the books, learn what it takes to advance. It ain't year one. Okay, I know we've been doing this for me 24 years. I don't put an alumni list because it's in the thousands. Okay, we're trying to give you, here's the roadmap. Yes, I read the internet too at times. I see these little tweets and everybody think that's cotton candy, man. You're getting a sugar rush. Let us give you some steak and potatoes, okay? Let's make sure that your son or daughter is, in a city that they want to be in, okay, where they're healthy and happy, because every parent wants their kid to be healthy and happy. Let's make sure that, can they play at that location? Let's be honest about it. Look in the mirror. Can I play here? And third, let's make sure that it's a good financial fit for the family. These are things that are easy to do, but it's not just as much as listing. A lot of the people are out there, list your top 10 schools. I wish that was it. So now a company's going to send the top 10 schools. Dude, who's looking at the kid to find out those schools are not looking for what he has to offer or what she has to offer? There has to be that middle group. There has to be that testing procedure, that evaluation, the real people that are seeing them and being honest. And I think you've done a good job. Man, I want to compliment all the My Time Scouts because I get to read a lot of the reports on the players. And, man, they're doing an outstanding job. Very accurate, very conservative. And I like seeing that. So.
And they do a good job. We couldn't do it without them. And, we appreciate all of them. And we're looking forward to getting out there this summer to these performance expos. It's be a lot of fun. And we expect to see a lot of good players and a lot of talent. So make sure you join us back next episode in a couple of weeks. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks to give you some more recruiting advice. Have a good one.